CR39 standard material. It's been around for a long time. It's stable. It's relatively cheap. It's an entry point type product, and it's perfectly fine. Polycarbonate is seen as often a premium product with some of the companies, and they sell it as a preferred lens. So you get upgraded from CR39 to polycarbonate almost universally. But poly's got some problems with it. It doesn't have a great Abbey value. It hasn't got great clarity. It is a soft material, which means it flexes. So when it mounts in frames, you can get uneven mountings, and that can cause wobbles and distortions, which can affect your vision. And we triage that for people that have got glasses they're not seeing with an offer. It's how the lenses have been mounted in the frame. The other thing with polycarbonate is it's quite soft, so it's a little bit easier to scratch. And on top of that, it's sensitive to solvents. So I had someone recently that was a wife and a bookkeeper to her husband who had a panel beating business, who used paints and thinners and sprays and other bits and pieces. And she was wearing some brand new rimless glasses she got made at a chain. They were polycarbonate, and she went into the spray paint area, and the fumes that were in that area caused her lenses to crack on her face. So that's a negative for that type of material. It might be a premium product, but it's not universally great in every circumstance. As such, I don't like polycarbonate. I've got a couple of specialty lenses that are only available in polycarbonate that I will sell, but I sell it with cautions, and I tell people don't use acetone, don't use Windex because it's got acetone in it. Don't go near, be very careful with thinners in the workshop. Don't use them when you're painting the house. And what we tend to use instead is we either use a 1.6 index or an IS material, which is amazing material that's very stable and chemical resistant and temperature resistant, or we use Trivex. So Trivex is also great. So if we're talking about safety lenses are purported to be polycarbonate in the most part. I don't like using polycarbonate. We use Trivex, or we use safety 1.6. Because I like the Abbey values of those lenses. The clarity value of them is better. The quality of the lenses are better. They're stiffer. They don't buckle as much. So we don't get pinch distortions with mounting in a frame. And they're a bit tougher. They don't scratch as much. And they're just better quality.
I kind of got this impression a while back that Trivex was something that you would find in safety glasses, but from what you're saying, it's also something that you could easily find in regular day-to-day spectacles or sunglasses. Is that right?
We use it quite a bit, yeah. Trivex is not used by every lab in the world, so there are certain companies that don't use something like a Trivex. But if I'm looking for Trivex as a material for a patient, I will choose a lens from that stable, from that company, because you can get that from Hoyer and you can get that from CR. They're two examples. You
mentioned Abbey value, so can you just unpack that a little for us? What is it?
Abbey value is to do with optical clarity. Is the way to think of it. Abbey value is a little bit high tech to sort of go into, but it's to do with clarity for lens thickness and other bits and pieces. So a low Abbey value lens has loss of clarity with different thicknesses and different prescriptions and things like that. And a high Abbey value lens has a much more stable level of clarity, no matter what the prescription is or the change of thickness of the lens as well. So things like Trivex have got great Abbey value. Things like a 1.6 index lens have got pretty good Abbey value as well. Polycarbonate's got a really low Abbey value, and even CR39, the old standard lens, has got a better Abbey value than polycarb.
Right. So you want a higher or lower Abbey value is better.
If we go that one again, it's a low Abbey value is polycarb. So polycarb has a low Abbey value of 30. And is prone to color fringing, which is the distortions, and a high Abbey value is clearer, and so definitely it's to do with that spread of lens type. So lower Abbey value lenses are things to avoid, and higher Abbey value are things to prefer. Another good example of Abbey value is if you look at what a spectacle lens, not a spectacle, like a microscope lens or a telescopic lens is made out of, they only want high Abbey lenses. They won't use polycarbonate. They use high index, or they use mineral lenses, or they use Trivex for those sort of products. And that answers everything you need to know. If they're not going to put it into your binoculars, why would you put it in front of your eyes?
And I guess once upon a time, spectacle lenses were made of glass, but that's something that you don't see very much these days. And if so, why is that the case?
Risk, loss of eye, loss of sight. And I've seen that happen to my patients over the years. For 30 years, the only glass lenses I've sold have been hardened glass. But hardened glass is weird because you're storing energy in the lens to make it more resilient to an impact. If it gets a little chip in it, then it survives that impact and it's no longer heat. There's no longer tension and protection in that lens. And the next time it hits, it's going to shadow instantly with a lower force. So we used to do safety glasses, which were hardened glass, and they were tougher than a normal glass lens by a magnitude, and they were great until they got damaged, and then they would shatter like a normal glass lens, and then people would lose an eye, and there'd be thousands of fragments of glass going to their eye. What do we see these days? What do we have in the practice that's made of glass? I've got some sunglasses that are made of glass. So, in fact, I've got a pair of sunnies here that I can show you. So, this pair of sunnies is from Etnia, and it is a photochromic graduated sunglass, which is amazing. So this thing goes darker in the sun, it comes lighter when you come inside, and it is darker at the top and lighter at the bottom, and it's a mineral lens. So it's much harder, and it's hardened, which is great. But the risk with that is if you did something when you're wearing them that was physical and something hit them, could you lose an eye from that? And the answer is it's possible. We also have glass lenses in some of our Makos and some of our specialty sunglasses, our more brand name sunnies, and they put glass lenses in, and they're great for ocean fishermen. And they're hardened glass in their way, but they're also laminated. Like your laminated windshield, a laminated windshield won't shatter into 1,000 pieces, it'll break into bits and pieces. It's the same sort of thing. Once you've got the lamination in there, it's really hard to break the lens, and if it does break, it'll crinkle, which is much safer for the eye. And what's the risk when you're fishing for breaking would be a sinker. You're working, you're trying to get it up, and you've got your fish right to the edge, and then a shark comes and bites through your fish, and it gets released, and the sinker hits you in the glasses. And I've got patients that have had hooks and gang hooks go up into their eyebrow and just miss their eye. So I think it's a good idea to wear sunglasses because you don't want a hook hitting you in the eye. Yeah. But in the same vein, if you've got a hard thing hitting your sunglasses, it's a risk it's going to break. But that with a polarized safety glass, polarized sunglass, it's glass, it's relatively safe, and it's going to wear much better going forward because the number of hours on the sea have something hit you is very minuscule in compared to the hours on the sea that you're going to be enjoying yourself with your sunnies.
I guess another downside of glass is it's a bit heavier than some of the other types of materials, isn't it?
It's much heavier, yeah. And I've got a dent across the top of my bridge of my nose, and that's because I wore glass photochromic lenses as a child from age 9 or whenever I first got glasses up until probably my first plastic lenses were when I was 17. So I wore them for quite a long number of years, and heavy glass lenses, and I was playing sport, and I was, riding bikes and doing all sorts of other bits and pieces, and I damaged the cartilage of my nose in that growing period. So I've got a dent in my nose from wearing heavy glass lenses back in the day. And I look back on it now and I think, how the hell did I put up with it? But I think we were just tough kids. So, but I don't like doing glass lenses today. I've done one glass lens that's a prescription lens in the last, say, 15 years, and that was a hardened lens, and I had to send away to get it hardened. And I also get my patients to sign a disclaimer. If I'm doing a prescription glass lens, I get them to sign a disclaimer that I'm advising them medically that they shouldn't be getting it. They should be getting a safer plastic lens. And it's interesting when push comes to shove, people are pushing, I only want glass, da, da, da. And you say, yep, I can do it. It's going to cost you a penalty because you've got to go and get it hardened. And I'm going to have to get you to sign a disclaimer that you're going against medical advice. Very few people will sign the disclaimer. So in their heart of hearts, they know that it's not safe. So, and they're not willing to go to write away their risk, and would that certificate write away the risk? And the answer is it wouldn't. But it's trying to make people fully cognizant of the fact that they're doing something that's not 100% safe, that has a risk, and if they have a risk, that's their decision, not my decision for them.